Wags, you ever get tired of working for a living?
Every damn day. But I've got a nasty addiction called money, so I do what I do. You?
No, never. Until today. You know, they call us traders gamblers. The world economy is just one big casino, fueled by a giant debt bubble and computer-driven derivatives. There's only one thing better than being a gambler in a casino.
That's being the house.
That is right. There's a systemized machine out there, sucking capital from localities and injecting it into the global markets where it can be used to speculate and manipulate. And if something goes wrong, there are bailouts and bail-ins, federal aid and easing, where the government doesn't hunt you down, but instead gives you a nice soft net to land in.
That's your answer to the fireside chat. You want to become a bank.
I want to become a bank.
In order to rob it?
In order that I don't have to.
Welcome to Money Unplugged. I'm Chris Hill. Thanks for being here. Got an email from Leo. He's one of the dozens of listeners to this podcast, and he writes, I just finished listening to your episode with Adam Felber, and in the discussion, Billions came up. I'm not really a TV guy, but I did not miss one episode of Billions during its run on Showtime. I would highly recommend it to you, as there are many intriguing factors which include money, investing, greed, suspense, etc. A great series. I'm confident you would enjoy. Keep up the good work with the podcast. Thank you, Leo. That opening clip was for you. The email address is info@moneyunpluggedpod.com. Drop a note, ask a question, share your thoughts. Hope you had a good Thanksgiving and that December is off to a good start. And for those of you who have been asking, yes, there will be a holiday-themed episode coming up later this month. And yes, it will be an apropos of nothing style conversation. For those of you who get that reference. That's later in the month. Today I talk with David Simnick. He is the co-founder and CEO of Soapbox, which is a mission-driven health and beauty company. As the name suggests, they make soap, shampoo, conditioner, body wash, and for every product they sell, they donate a bar of soap through different charity partners around the world. That's the mission, and Soapbox makes the world a little healthier and a little safer as a result. I think they've given away something in the neighborhood of 40 million bars of soap since they started almost a decade ago. And it's also been one of the fastest growing businesses in America. Walmart, CVS, Amazon, Walgreens, wherever you currently buy your soap and shampoo, there's a pretty good chance you will see Soapbox products on the shelf. I really enjoyed the conversation with David. He's one of those people who, he's got entrepreneurship running through his veins. And what I didn't realize is he's been that way since he was a kid. This was a fun one, and also one of those episodes worth sharing with any entrepreneurs or aspiring entrepreneurs that you know. Because David shares his experiences, the stumbles, the mistakes, the lessons he's learned. It's a good one. So let's get into it with David Simnick. Do you have an early memory of money?
I had a great example growing up of two amazing parents that still clipped coupons and garage saled. And I didn't really have any of my own clothes because I had two older brothers and I just wore what they wore until high school. And then I looked at my mom and I was like, can I please go buy my own clothes? And I guess I never really knew, my parents never made us want for anything, but they also very much instilled the importance of saving and the importance of being frugal and what a good deal is. But yet, I just didn't understand how well my parents played their financial hand. I really had no idea. And I think the other thing that I really loved is all the times where when we were younger, my mom really just embraced the entrepreneurial streak that I had. From a very young age, I always wanted to start things. And I remember I came up with this idea to start a newspaper. And I used my dad's like dot matrix printer. And so my fourth and fifth grade school years, I would come out with an edition of the Brush Hill News, which was the street that we lived on. It was called Brush Hill Circle. And I went around door to door selling it to all my neighbors. And it was 25 cents an issue, or you could subscribe for the whole year. And then each issue came out to 10 cents. And let me tell you, like the dot matrix printers back then with their pretty big, this thing was massive and the perforated edges on the paper. And then I would mess up some of the copies. And like, I was the editor chief, printer, publisher. I was everything. Right. And like, I like conscripted my, friends into helping like be in the newsroom. And I would set, cots up in the basement, and we'd pretend that we had offices and that type of stuff.
Just to be clear, the cots in the basement, those were pretend desks. That wasn't like you were running a sweatshop newspaper and you had to provide lodging for your friends.
Chris, it gets worse.
God.
They weren't the desks; they were the cubicles. So like I created the modern day office in our like cement, cold, damp basement. So like if there ever was like me like whipping my like other fourth grade friends into like, typing out grammatically incorrect every sentence, like it was just hysterical. Like I think all my neighbors got no news. They bought it because they were like, my next door neighbor is trying to get a buck out of me, and like, gosh darn it, I'm gonna celebrate his hustle. But like the P&L didn't work, right? So like the amount of money that I was like bringing in absolutely did not cover the amount of paper I was going through. Especially because like if you remember a dot matrix printer, sometimes they would print on the actual like perforated edge of the next page. So then I had to like consistently like, be like, well, Dad, we need to go out and buy more printer paper. But my mom and dad were just like, look, this kid's weird and he's got something and we're just going to continue to invest in this. So the next like fledgling enterprise that I wanted to start was candy stands, and like candy stands at everything. Like, so like, Naperville, Illinois had a parade for like every season, and whether it be St. Patrick's Day or Thanksgiving or Christmas or New Year's, like there's a parade all the time. And I like convinced my mom to go to Costco and buy the biggest economic packs of candies you could get. And I would put up like a 400% markup on each piece. And that was a killing. And I was like, newspapers.
Here's a
dead.
Newspapers bad. Candy good.
Candy good. So I think from a very young age, I really, it just something clicked, and I was like, I like this entrepreneurship thing. You can run as fast as you want with your ideas, and you get rewarded for it. And I loved building things.
I want to go back to something you mentioned earlier when you were talking about the way that your parents managed money, dealt with money. It sounds like they were, as you said, they were very frugal. But it also sounds like, if I heard you correctly, that there was a point in your life when you figured out, oh, they've really done well. They've really managed this right. Were you an adult when that happened? Like, I'm wondering if, in fact, there was an epiphany, or if it was just sort of a slow realization over time.
Great question. So I'm 37 today. I only realized about 8 years ago just how much, and I think what's really interesting is my parents both were the first to go to college of their families. And they cared so much about education and about being frugal and investing in really sound, safe instruments. They just consistently were like, look, we're going to put X amount away. And I so respect how much they provided for their family. And I think so I'm the last of three boys. And I was the one who really pushed the limits of, oh, this kid really wants to do some pretty crazy stuff. So like, I didn't go to a state school. I came out here, went to school at American in Washington, D.C., and then I went and did my graduate at UPenn. And just, like my parents made sure that I was able to walk out of college without any significant debt. And that then allowed me to go and do Teach for America. And that then allowed me to, jump into building Soapbox. And that wouldn't have been possible without my parents being incredibly financially wise.
At any point when you were a teenager, did you have a quote unquote real job where you were working for an employer, or was everything you were doing sort of your own entrepreneurship thing?
Oh, I mean, well, I've worked for a lot of people. So I worked for the local TV station because I thought I wanted to go into broadcast journalism for a hot second, probably some remnants of the newspaper days. And then I really wanted to do this Ivy League summer camp. And my parents were like, we have a better idea. We think you should go be a janitor. So, so that's a true story. So technically their phrasing was, we think you should go get a job. So I became a janitor at a health club, and I actually really enjoyed it. Like, there is something so satisfying when you clean a whole basketball gym. Like, there's like, you start somewhere, you end somewhere, like you see the immediate results of all your hard labor.
What did you study at American University?
Yeah, I was a generalist. They have this it's one of the reasons I went there. They have a multidisciplinary major there called Communications, Legal Institutions, Economics, and Government.
So you're one of those people who, it sounds like, who went to college not really knowing what you wanted to do when you came out the other side.
Oh, no, Chris. I thought I knew exactly what I wanted to do. I wanted to go into politics. I wanted to go work for a senator or a governor or whatever it might be. And then one day think about potentially running myself. And what I quickly realized through all these internships that I had that were phenomenal, and I had so many amazing bosses and supervisors and managers that really just took me under their wing. I remember my first internship at American was with the Community Relations Department of the Army. So I worked at the Pentagon. I had a lieutenant colonel who took me under her wing. And then when I was working for a senator, I was working for Tom Carper's office out of Delaware. So when working for him as like an intern to an LA, that LA convinced me, is like, look, if you ever want to run for office, don't work here. Like, go do something and then run. Like, build your own story. So that was a huge shift. Like, so when you said, like, did you go to college because you were trying to figure out what you wanted to do? I knew what I wanted to do. I went to college and then realized, oh crap, this is not what I want to do. So then I had this huge crisis of like, okay, so you want to serve, that you want to do something every day that you believe makes the world a better place. You're a challenge junkie, as most entrepreneurs are. So you want every day to be new and hard and challenging, and that you want to lead. So what can you do where you can actually be deserving of leadership? And I naturally came to the Marines. So I started preparing to go to officer training school after I graduated. And after I graduated, I was talking with a recruiter, and he was just like, I think you got the right stuff. And I started filling out all the paperwork. And I had to get this one form that was taking way too long. And in that process, one of my friends hit me up and was like, hey, I'm a part of this startup. Do you want to go help me, launch this before you ship out? And I was like, sure. And it was 3 days into working at that startup that I called the recruiter and I said, hey, I'm going to see this out. Like, I'll be around next season. And there's something that I'll never forget. He said, son, we don't chase Marines. I was like, okay. all right, that's fair. And within another week, I knew that I was meant to be an entrepreneur.
I know what you're thinking. Chris, the holidays are here and I don't know what to buy. I want to surprise that special someone with something they like, but I don't know what size she wears, or I don't know what color he likes. Stop your whining. I got you covered. You can put a smile on their face and you can score some serious gift-giving points with the Marmar Holiday Gift Pack. Yeah, that's right. The gift pack includes a jar of America's favorite chili garlic crunch, a beautiful ceramic serving bowl that comes with a wooden spoon, and just to add a little something sweet, some Lindor chocolates. So go to ilovemarmar.com, use the promo code MONEY, and get 10% off. But seriously, get on this now. Like, you might want to pause the podcast and go do this now, because there is a limited number of these holiday gift packs. The chili garlic crunch is the best. The ceramic bowl is one of those things, they're going to keep using that bowl. When the chili garlic crunch is gone, they'll keep using that bowl. And whenever they do, they're going to think about the fact that you gave it to them this Christmas. Right? Click the link in the show notes. Go to ilovemarmar.com. 10% off when you use the promo code MONEY and order the Marmar Holiday Gift Pack today. All right, let's get back to David. I'm assuming that your parents, being your parents, seeing this entrepreneurial gene in you pretty much from the get-go, they probably weren't surprised when you told them, no, instead of the Marines, this is what I'm going to do. But at any point, did either one or both of them have a conversation with you about your own income? Because when you were telling the story about like, oh, if, a friend of mine is like, come help me with this startup. And, 3 days in, you're like, I'm going to do this. And you were telling me that. And I thought to myself, that's interesting because most people, when they go to take a new job, very early in that process is, and here's the salary for this job. And I don't know that your friend necessarily said, hey, here's what I'm going to pay. Here's what I'm offering you in exchange for your help.
How do I say this? I distinctly remember my dad asking me, well, what's your 401k? And I was like, Dad, I don't think I'm making $401. I'm like 401k. He's like, well, what is the employee handbook? I'm like, there's 3 of us. I was like, what handbook?
It's written on a napkin.
Yeah, right. Like, he's like, well, do you have an agreement? I was like, no. I was like, we're just all trying to make this. We're just trying to, sling things against the wall and see what sticks. And honestly, that company did not do well, right? That company went up and went down in about 6 months. But I discovered this thing about myself where I had, from very early on, I absolutely had that entrepreneur itch. And somehow through middle and high school, I lost it. And I think there, so much of when you listen to all these biographies or autobiographies of, really remarkable people, there's always something or someone in their life that believes in them early on that gets them into whatever it is, right? So like Bill Gates having one of the only computers, in his school.
Right.
Like
there are 2 high schools in America that have computers in them, and he just happens to attend one of those 2 high schools.
And there's so many of these stories, right? There's so many of these like, oh, and I think so many people get away from these people who are just remarkable onto their own right. And yes, but there's also these really amazing supporting figures that have like instrumental impact in all these wildly successful people's lives. So I'm not saying I'm of that caliber, like, like soap magnet extraordinaire one day. But I think for me, there were so many amazing teachers and scoutmasters and employers that took me under their arm and said, look, you just got a lot of grit. So what is it about what you want to do in this short time you have here on earth that is going to leave it a little bit better than how you found it? And I think my relationship with money really built on a foundation by my parents is money is a fuel to go after what really matters. So I always was a little more optimistic and a little more risk taking. And although that's very different than my parents, and it's very different than my brothers, to be honest, I know that it was 100% built on this foundation of security and thrift and frugality that my parents had.
Let's go to the speed round. They say money cannot buy happiness. I think we both know that's not true. What is a thing that you have bought that makes you happy?
Okay, this is going to sound real dumb, but I recently bought a Shop-Vac for my garage, and I don't need it, but I love it. I know. It's the dumbest. I get it, right?
No,
but
no.
Let me tell you.
Shop-Vac, it strikes me as like, unless you're in a job that requires a Shop-Vac or you have a hobby that requires something like that, it strikes me as the type of device that sits in a closet 11 and a half months out of the year, but like the 2 or 3 times you need it, you're really happy you have it.
So I would like to believe that I'm handy. Like I would like to, and there's a part of me that like
we all do.
Really,
all men believe they're handy.
But there are some times where I really knock it out of the park, right? There are some times where I'm like, I just chop down the tree in the backyard, and then like you see me just like lug out the Shop-Vac and like clean all my tools and that type of, and just like the. But I bought that like a week ago. Did I need to? No. Did I buy like the most luxurious? No, I don't need luxurious. Why would you need a luxurious Shop-Vac? The most like obscene amount of tech in a Shop-Vac that you need. Yes, I did. 100%.
Have you ever made a purchase that you regret and sometimes you still think about it?
I hate returning things. Like the hassle of returning things. I bought the wrong type of shoes and I wear them out of spite of not returning them.
Wow.
Yep. And every time I slip them on, I'm like, I hate these shoes. I'm not going to return them.
I'm just going to wear them till the soles fall off.
These are not comfortable. But you know what? Amazon can keep my $40 because you made the return process that difficult.
What is one thing about money that you wish you knew earlier in life?
Compound interest. Period.
Say no more. What is the last thing you splurged on just for yourself, not for your wife or any of your friends, just for yourself? And obviously you mentioned the Shop-Vac, but I'm assuming there's something else.
Do you listen to Acquired at all?
Not on a regular basis. I'm familiar with it though.
Okay. Another phenomenal podcast. I think one day they'll, be as well known as Money Unplugged.
Sure.
One day.
Sure. I'm rooting for them.
But they did a whole segment on LVMH as well as Hermes, and one of the I never really broke down the world of luxury this way, but they talked about how there are things that are premium, and then there are things that are luxury, and luxury, like in the car market, luxury items are not always better than premium items. Like a premium brand would be like a BMW or like a Lexus, right? Are they better than like a Toyota or maybe like a VW, right? And I understand they're not all the same family, but yes, like without doubt, right? Like we know that absolutely is a better experience, better tech, better engines, better all that type of stuff. That's a premium item. A luxury item might be like a Bugatti or a Lamborghini or whatever. Like, is the tech as good as the premium? Probably not, right? Is it a faster car? Might be, might not. But the idea that you buy luxury is like buying into the dream. And I think after hearing that, I was like, I actually don't know if I own any luxury items. Because like I'm willing to spend for premium items. So This is a roundabout way of saying, after owning a Ford Escape for like a decade and running that thing into the ground, I literally had over 200,000 miles on it. And when I went to go trade it in, they were like, "You have to pay us to get this thing off the lot." And I was like, no, no. I was like, I need to go to somewhere else. So I splurged and I got a premium vehicle, and that was something for myself. And I've now completely spoiled my taste in cars because what I drive is just a delight every time I get behind the wheel.
Do you have a favorite movie or TV series that has money as a through line?
I thought Billions was really interesting. I thought Billions in terms of, yeah, it's made for TV, there's entertainment, but like in terms of like the influence that a very well capitalized hedge fund could have in the market was fascinating to see, even if just entertainment value.
Before we get to the very last thing, you mentioned before we started recording, you wanted to offer something to the tens of listeners to Money Unplugged?
You mean tens of millions? Yes. For all you Chris Hill fans out there, Money Unplugged 25, go to soapboxsoaps.com. First time order, you get 25% off no matter what you order. You could order $10, you could order $1,000. It's still 25% off. And we're happy to have you join the Soapbox family.
Last thing is a penny for your thoughts. And this is just any bit of life wisdom that you've picked up along the way that you want to share with people who are listening. It doesn't have to be about money. It can be about anything.
The wisest penny that I could offer to your listeners would be if anyone here is interested in starting your own thing, and that could be, a for-profit, that could be a non-for-profit, that could be whatever. You want to go out and venture and be an entrepreneur or an entrepreneur within a larger organization. The number one thing that I've seen as a common trait in the 16 years that I've been operating as an entrepreneur, growing this from my college kitchen to the shelves of every major American retailer, as well as some in Mexico and Canada and beyond, is grit. The number one trait that is shared in all of these, movers and shakers and change makers that make it possible is this unwavering belief that they're going to make it happen. And that's different. That's different than hubris, right? Like there is a time where the writing's on the wall. There's a time where the writing's on the wall where it is not a good use of your capital or other people's capital to continue. But perseverance and that grit is what I've seen shake out the ones who make it and those who don't.
There you go. Little bonus promo code, right? Money Unplugged 25. That's the promo code to use when you go to soapboxsoaps.com. I will put all of this in the episode description. Hand soap, shampoo, conditioner, body wash. You get clean and you save money. What's better than that? I'm Chris Hill. Thanks for listening. I'll see you next week.